Time for us to go viral. Juju Smith-Schuster is always trying to be there for his fans. So when a young man named Anthony told Juju that his date broke up with him before prom, Juju came to the rescue. The Pro Bowler went to prom with Anthony and his friends, and of course, he was the life of the party.
This is awesome. This is
really
such a cool thing. I would imagine Juju sprung for the suit, right? He said, hey, man, we're going to have matching crushed velvet.
If we're doing this, we're going all the way, buddy.
Absolutely. That's really cool.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm just
What?
I'm too old-fashioned. I can't be hanging with too many young minors and everything.
Oh, at the prom?
Yeah.
I get it. I understand that. But I think Juju, I think it was all above board. I think it's no problem. And his prom. They're probably all 18, man.
But he's not that far removed from these guys anyway. He's young. He's in his 20s.
You know, that's a good point. He was the youngest guy that came in the league. He's only like 5 years older than these guys.
So he still relates.
Well, let me just tell you guys something. I went to a prom, and then I ended up getting some NFL money. How I used to party, changed.
It changed. Right.
Yeah,
You changed.
Yeah, them high school kids wasn't ready for me.
Juju didn't change, man.
Can I say something real quick?
He's going to the mall, playing catch, making viral videos. He's still a kid at heart. Remember, he was at college last year, wearing his uniform. Go ahead, Jenna. I'm sorry.
No.
You wanted to say something, please.
That's okay.
Please. You want to say something?
I got broken up with before prom. I wanted Michael J. Fox to take me to prom, a la Anthony wanting Juju to take him to prom.
Wait.
But in my day, there was no way of reaching out to Michael J. Fox.
Oh, because otherwise he would have gone.
So I wished it into the ether.
Because otherwise,
I did not go to prom.
Michael J. Fox watching right now like, damn, that was a missed opportunity for me.
I never
Otherwise,
went to prom.
if you just had Twitter, that would have
Not your
happened.
takeaway, but the point is, only one of us did.
Grown woman Jenna can't get Danny Ainge to return a tweet. But 17-year-old Jenna was going to get Michael J. Fox, height of Back to the Future power.
Thank you, Michael J. Fox. You missed out on my really good story. I had 2 dates for the prom. One for the dance and one for the after party.
That's a heady play. Smart play.
Moving on to Kawhi.
Yeah, it's got to be politically correct during the day.
We got it.
He's like, let me explain it
Jenna,
to you.
please.
Yeah, it was a different
We
name.
got it.
Despite
Hey, man, people.
We got it.
Kawhi leading his team in scoring, Leonard is reportedly being slowed down by a knee issue, which stems from him overcompensating for a quad injury. The same right quad injury that forced him to miss all but 9 games last year in San Antonio. So, Nick, even though he's not 100% healthy, does Toronto need to get more from Kawhi moving forward?
Yes. It's the NBA Finals, man. Kawhi's got to play better. Steph's got to play better. Best player on the court in Game 1 was Pascal Siakam. Best player on the court in Game 2 was Draymond Green. Neither the Raptors nor the Warriors can win a championship if their best player is Pascal Siakam or Draymond Green. It's going to come down to who in these NBA Finals can do their best Kevin Durant, LeBron James impersonation. Because we talked about this off the air. Broussard said it yesterday in Undisputed, and I think he's right. We are seeing through 2 games how hard the finals are for everybody. Steph didn't make a basket in the first quarter of Game 1 or in the fourth quarter of Game 1, and they won anyway. Kawhi checks in after resting to start the fourth quarter in a game where Clay goes out. It's a 7-point game. You can steal it from Golden State, be 2 wins away from a championship. He goes 1 of 6 the rest of the way, and his team goes 3 of 16. These finals, so almost always, what does the championship come down to? With the rare exception of the 2014 Spurs, where it was truly a team collective effort. Whose star player, whose best guy can be great repeatedly? That's what's defined championships in all of our lifetimes in the NBA, with the rare exception. 04 Pistons would be an example where it was a collective effort to overcome the more talented 04 Lakers. So yeah, Kawhi's got to be better. First half of the playoffs, he shot 50% from 3. Second half of the playoffs, he's at 28% from 3. His field goal percentage by round has gone 56, 53, 44, 38. Like, he's still scoring, but that's because he's getting to the line. He's got to be more efficient. And I think this series he should be in line to be a little more efficient because he doesn't have to spend so much energy guarding Giannis. He does have an easier defensive matchup on that side of the court.
It looks that way, hypothetically. Sometimes 1 + 1 people thinking it equals 2. But no, it doesn't, because Kawhi, you talked about tendonitis in his left knee. We talked about a problem with his right quad. It's not the same injury that he had in San Antonio, but he does have a problem with his right quad. So you got a guy struggling with both legs, all right? Left leg injured, knee, right being the quad. It becomes hard if he's going to try to elevate. As a jump shooter, it becomes hard to be able to knock down shots. So we've seen. Also, you got to give credit defensively. This Warriors defense in 2 games is championship caliber defense. You have to. They are more familiar with Toronto's sets. They're more familiar with Kawhi, how he wants to play. They're crowding him. They're trapping him, taking the ball. But there's no one shooting a great percentage in the final.
Correct.
Go yet. Up and down. I think Steph is what? Oh,
Clay's the only one. Clay's the only one, and he got hurt. And I mean, Clay's the only one. He was shooting 52% from the field, and I think 58% from 3. But he's the only guy, and he's injured now.
So I'm expecting Nick Nurse, a lot like he did in game number after game number 2 with Milwaukee, to start making some adjustments. I wouldn't mind them. I don't mind if Kyle Lowry plays the point guard. I'm not going to go off and bench him because he just had not played the type of basketball I would like. Van Fleet is a far more effective perimeter. He's been far more effective running the offense. But I might put Van Fleet at the point, put Kawhi at the 2, put Siakam at the 3, Serge Ibaka at the 4, and Gasol go big.
Huge.
And Kawhi then would have a huge advantage on the offensive end because they can't afford to put Iggy on him for 30 minutes. They can't afford to put Draymond on him for 30 minutes because of foul trouble. So get Kawhi out on the break. If they double team Kawhi, I'd like to see him split the double team to be more aggressive so he gets more shot attempts. And I wouldn't rely on the 3-point. I would try to get in the lane or try to get a mid-range. So can they get back out on the fast break? Because him and Siakam on the break have an advantage against Golden State. So those are some of the adjustments that I look for the Raptors to be able to make as they travel to Oracle.
If the Raptors are going to tweak anything, change anything, maybe change the lineup the way CC laid out, isn't Game 3 going to be the game to do it in? Because you most likely won't have to deal with a Klay Thompson, and you probably won't have to deal with a KD. And that quick pass, that quick pacing of the ball movement is not going to be something you're going to have to deal with.
Listen, if Klay's out, now I believe Klay's going to play. How effective he's going to be, I don't know. But I believe Klay's, I don't think he's going to snap. He's going to hit his consecutive 120 out of 120 playoff game streak. If Klay's out, though, I believe KD's not playing. Then I think the Raptors are going to start out doing exactly what they did to end Game 4, or Game 2 in the 4th quarter, pardon me, until the Warriors show that they have solved the box-and-1. Now, the box-and-1 defense is not very unique. It's unique to the NBA, but it's played at every other level of basketball. It's a very simple defense. And the way you solve it is cutting to the basket and knocking down shots. If guys knock down shots, you have to get out of that. But if the Warriors don't show the ability to have an offensive threat other than Steph, then the Raptors won't change what they do defensively. Now, offensively, no matter who's out there, the question is, how are you going to try to take advantage of what the Warriors have shown they are going to do repeatedly in this postseason to the opposition's best player, which is force other people to beat you?
Yes.
I thought Antoine Walker had a really interesting idea, which was take the ball out of Kawhi's hands, have him post up, not on the low block, but maybe at the elbow, to where you can't trap there, and he's got more versatility, because they did it to Harden, they did it to Lillard the entire series, and now they're doing it to Kawhi. They are simply saying, we're going to send 2 at your best guy, and we will live with the results. If Pascal Siakam goes 14 of 17, we're not going to live with your best guy going for 40.
The way you get around that is move the player off the ball, move the player to the baseline. That's what Portland didn't do in the conference final, and Harden. We heard about the disagreement between him and Chris Paul. It was based on him going off the ball. He didn't want to go off the ball. But when you are the predominant ball handler, and that's what Kyle Lowry and the lack of having him run the offense a lot, or him being good offensively, that's what it's done. It's made them give the ball to Kawhi, have Kawhi start the offense, so now he's set himself up that early in the shot clock, he can get trapped. And they can force him to throw the ball away, and he might not get it. That's why his attempts are down, and that's why he's forced to take more bad shots than he did in the first 3 rounds. It's because you got to be able to give Golden State some credit. So I'm not going to do that. I need the other guards to be able to bring it up so that we can get him in his mid-range games. And also, we need Kawhi to keep on the attack to get them into foul trouble. Because if Klay is not there, that bench is not what they want to go to. And I believe that Kawhi playing in the low post post or mid-range, that gives them an advantage going into game number 3.
All right, let's stick with the game. Different player. Andre Iguodala had the clutch 3 to seal game 2 for the Warriors Sunday night, evening up the series with Toronto at 1-1. Iggy's been a key cog in all 3 of the Warriors championships, including win a Finals MVP in 2015. He addressed his motivation to win a 4th title after Sunday's win.
Everything you guys have overcome, all the championships you've won, what motivates you to keep going to play hurt at this point in your career?
I like Steph. He's a good dude, and good guy to be around. That's really the only reason why I like playing basketball. That's the only reason why I play.
Did that run you want him to win? Like that's what it is?
Yeah, they I've never seen him in person. Like, so such a good person to ever get some backlash or whatever from his peers because they're so jealous of what he has. So it's kind of sticking it to him. And so I'm trying to whatever it takes to protect his legacy. I'm all for it.
Cece, what do you make of Iggy wanting to play for Steph?
I believe it's bull. I believe he just made that up. I believe that sometimes that you're doing interviews, you try to say or send messages to other people. I believe that message was to the organization because we all know the organization is in love with Steph. This is his franchise. It's also a message that $33 million that he is due to make with the Warriors, like he's trying to ensure that he's going to be a good teammate, to be a good soldier. Now, I do believe Steph's his favorite Warrior. I do believe he spends more time with Steph. I do believe that him and Steph have more things in common. They spend a lot of time with their families together off the court. They play a lot of golf together. I enjoy that. But I've never heard another player say, I'm here to protect another player's legacy, because I know it's not true. That's not a real motivation. Like, what about his wife? What about his couple kids? What about his own legacy? So for me, I've never seen anyone do it, but I have heard people say things that they embellish in their interview. So I can respect their relationship, but there's no way he's out there thinking about Steph's legacy. So when his hamstring pulled up or his calf snagged, and you think he was thinking about Steph then? So you telling me if Steph wasn't there, he would play with a different intensity? Because before he met Steph, before Steph was in the league, this dude played exactly like he's playing right now. And the amazing thing about it, he's been able to take care of his body, and he's been able to play a lot longer than you probably would think that he would be able to play as a reserve. So give him a lot of credit. He's had a very good NBA career. But I have not seen a professional athlete that was motivated by someone else's legacy. And I think I played with 8 Hall of Famers, and not one play. Warren Moon, Reggie White, any of them players, was I protecting their legacy? No, I just think he embellished. But him and Steph do have the close relationship on this team.
But there are 2 things, even if the legacy part you don't believe, there's 2 things he said that I think are absolutely incontrovertibly true. One is how he plays does affect Steph's legacy, because if he misses that shot and the Raptors race down the court, don't call timeout, Kawhi shoots a 3, they win the game. You know what we're talking about the next day? You're
talking about that one bad game that Steph had in another series.
Another finals.
We're
talking about the technical Steph got that got totally brushed under the rug. And I don't even think most people know, Steph in that 4th quarter not only didn't score a point, didn't take a shot.
Your favorite food, Jenna, bagels. Bagels.
The only thing Steph did that came close to hitting the rim was when he threw the ball up in the air to get that technical. So obviously, the things Iggy does do affect Steph's legacy. But the other point Iggy made that I think is really interesting coming from a player, because I have heard this before, is he said Steph is disrespected by his peers. There is absolutely, and he used the word jealousy, a jealousy towards Steph that is different, in my experience, than the jealousy towards the other top players in the league. Not only because of the team he's on, not only because he gets to be the face of the NBA, but because Steph, there was this underdog narrative surrounding Steph that a lot of guys are like, he's the underdog? The guy, why is he the underdog? Oh, because he didn't get a big-time D1 scholarship offer? Well, his dad did play in the NBA. He did grow up with money. He has had some infrastructure advantages we never had, and he gets to be the underdog? I think you see that when Russ plays him. You see that when other point guards play him, some of the animosity. I think Iggy is touching on that as well, even if the legacy point is a little off point.
We got to go.
I'm going to be
Undisputed
here
starts
tomorrow
right
just to
now.
protect y'all.